Granite was in place, and the china clay comes from the weathering of granite, and specifically feldspars generally. So the feldspars weather and become kaolin and kaolinite, and it's been extracted in Cornwall for hundreds of years, I think. And one of the specific properties that kind of specifies where you need to go is the different micas that you have associated with the granite. So St Austell doesn't have very many biotite micas in it. Biotite is a mica that contains iron in it.
To take the clay in the quarry that I've been told I'm not allowed to have. We'll see how easy it is to get in.
Yeah, as I understand it, basically you have the land rights and then the mining rights. I don't know where groundwater falls under that, but you might own the land and the property on top of something, but you might not own the rights to whatever is buried beneath it. And so St Austell mining is all about getting the whitest clay from Cornwall because of the specific local geology. And the fact there aren't any biotite micas in that. Okay. I think basically Cornwall's got a pretty unique geology, certainly in the UK. I mean, there are other granites around the UK. There's a lot of them up in Scotland, but most of England is sedimentary in origin, so it doesn't have the wealth of minerals and different metallic elements and other things that Cornwall has.
And therefore, do you honestly think it's economically viable to begin reopening mines again in Cornwall, and do you think it's a good thing?
Well, so certainly the economic climate is changing, and there's a big push for renewables and electric vehicles and all that kind of stuff at the moment, which uses elements that have previously not been particularly well used in industry. So battery technology and electric vehicles and all that kind of stuff uses a lot of cobalt, nickel and lithium. And lithium and cobalt we haven't really used all that much until now, and there's a huge growing demand for it, which is going to push the prices up and make prospects such as Cornwall and others viable.
Yeah, and you're happy to have you think that the way mining the kind of techniques developing, you're happy to have that in your backyard, as it were?
Mm-hmm. I think it's really important to have mining in the UK because the environmental standards are just generally higher, and it means that you can do more ethical mining and do it more cleanly, and it also means that you don't have to transport stuff around the world. So lithium travels, I think, for something like 10,000 miles before your car goes a metre with your lithium battery in it. And that just has a huge carbon footprint associated with it. So if you can mine ethically and environmentally friendly, in an environmentally friendly way in Cornwall and the UK in general, I think that's definitely a good thing.
Any local Cornishman with any kind of mining experience is generally near retirement. So even if they reopened it, the likelihood is they'd have to bring specialists from Australia, South Africa, Canada.
A lot of the workings link into each other.
Yeah.
For example, the catchment area for Little Jane is 32 miles.
Yeah.
And in those 32 miles, they believe it's something like 50 mines.
Right.
So yeah, it's huge. Then plus.
And they're all kind of connected, so maybe you're taking mine water that's coming from all of those mines.
Essentially, yeah. Okay. Also, you've got down the Bizzo, you've got just up from us, you've got what's called the County Adit. And the County Adit is fed by over 250 mines, I'm told.
Yeah.
And that the water coming out of the County Adit is, I think it pumps out something like 600 to 800 litres a second, and the water quality there is about comes out of the mine.
Yeah.
That's true. So
hang on, sorry, and where does it go?
Into the Val Estuary.
Into the Foul Estuary.
So admittedly, yeah, there's more.
So there's still pollution going into the Foul.
Going to a degree.
Wow.
Again, because of what we put out, ours actually does help dilute it.
There was an event where basically all the plants kind of evolved and released huge amounts of oxygen into the environment. Before that, there hadn't really been any, and it suddenly caused this massive oxidation of all the iron that had been dissolved in the seawater for millions and it might well have been over 1 billion years from the erosion of all the rocks and stuff. And so there was a massive amount of iron in the oceans. And then suddenly there's all this oxygen that gets dissolved in as well, and it causes the iron to precipitate, and you get these huge ironstone formations.
Wow.
The second element of Redruth is Cornish Rud, and the Dair Connor was renamed Red River due to mining activity, or the blood from the bolster's arm. He fell in love with Agnes, and she would only agree to marry him if he filled up a hole with his own blood. The giant agreed to do this, but the hole led all the way out to the sea at Godrevy, hence the hill and place called Bolster in St Agnes.
45 tons of powdered lime.
Yeah.
That massive tanker that just went past, that's
Yeah.
delivery, so we said 28 tons delivered.
Okay. Where does the lime come from?
Buxton.
Okay.
Literally, yeah, it's a throwaway tarmac from Buxton. That's the biggest quarry in Europe, I think.
Right.
So yeah, we get about, depending on how many pumps we're running, we get about 2 to 1 load at the moment a week. So we're going through potentially 28 to nearly 60 tons of lime a week. I mean, with our mine, it's not really the acid acidity that is the actual issue. It's more the actual metals.
The arsenic and stuff, yeah.
The arsenic's bad, and the manganese as well. Manganese is self-catalysing, so it will literally stick to anything. It's about 90% of the work I do here as an engineer is cleaning manganese off things.
But there are really valuable habitats up here now, due to the industrialised nature of the thing, because farmland generally is, even though it looks green and pleasant, is pretty barren quite a lot of the time. Either it's being, monocultured perennial ryegrass for stock to eat, or it's being sprayed the hell out of with chemicals. There's not a lot of diversity in that, even though it looks green. That there's a lot more going on there.